What is up, gamers? Thanks for tuning in to this Mavcast here. It is Saturday. It is 4 p.m. Central Time. Looking forward to talking with you guys and having a good time. More controversy today because controversy in gaming never ceases to exist. And today involves Halo Campaign Evolved, as there was a FAQ that dropped, I believe, yesterday. And it's been making the rounds today, and PS players aren't very happy with something that was done. Question is by who? And end result is basically PS players are going to end up having to pay an online subscription, PS Plus, to access local split screen co-op on their copies of Halo Campaign Evolved. Well, you got a lot of people pointing fingers and stuff. You have people like Paul Tassi saying Xbox is forcing this issue onto PlayStation gamers, whereas you have other people like me pointing out other things going on that I think should be clear to many people, but we got to discuss this anyway, and I want to kind of drive home exactly kind of what I think is going on here. But before we do that, shout out to the chat. Thanks for joining. Lord, thanks for being here for the start of this stream. Carlton P, what's going on? It says here to listen to Mav. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting. Def Leopard, how's it going? Says I'm loving Xbox sticking it to the PlayStation players. Let's see if are they sticking it to them, or is this just kind of an inherent issue going on with the way that PlayStation charges for certain services? We'll get into that for sure. What's up, Mr. Waffles? How are you doing? Everybody, hope you're doing well. Stanley Francois, what's happening? How's it going? Tent Games says, what's hanging with you? How's it going? Oh, appreciate you being here. I'm messing up my shit. Oops, there we go. We got Dragonfly Jones. How's it going, Dragonfly? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Yeah, it's been, I think a lot of the, I guess, overall conversations died down a little bit over last week's shenanigans. I mean, I'm sure it'll pick back up once we actually get final news from some of the Xbox studios and stuff like that from this big reset. However, news never ceases to stop, and this is going to be an interesting one because I already been back and forth with a lot of people on Twitter about this specific issue, and I don't think there's really a clear understanding from many that are on PlayStation or PlayStation defenders exactly what's going on here, and we'll get into it. Now, I will say, just before we dive into this whole thing, if I was to just answer this question completely honest and just, no non-biased, completely objectively, 100%, all that kind of stuff, right? Leave my Xbox fandom out of the equation and all of that. If you were to ask me who's to blame for the situation, it's shouldn't be a question of necessarily who's to blame. It's more of actually a question of who's more to blame. Because you could look at certain instances of how Halo Campaign Evolved is designed, and you can get some pushback on that scenario just in general. The typical kind of thing where it's like, hey, why do single player games require accounts and online access? That typical thing that's been around for a long time. And the easy short answer for that is, well, if you have cross progression, which is a feature that many people want, especially on single player games, then a lot of times that comes with these situations, right? So you could look at Xbox's thing and say, well, from a design perspective, it would be nice if they allowed the option for people just to play locally that don't care about cross progression, right? That would be something that they could do. However, that's not at the heart of what they're trying to intend for this game, right? And what they are intending is to have a seamless cross progression, no ifs, ands, and buts. It just works kind of thing going on, right? And you could look at that as like a positive. You could look at it as a negative, right? It depends on who you are. Personally, I see the upsides and downsides of both. I don't think the whole on always online, all this kind of shit is as big of a deal as people make it out to be these days. I think if you want full cross progression in games, cross platform games, where you can pick up a game and pick up where you left off seamlessly across the Xbox, across the PC, across a PlayStation, and all those other kind of things. I mean, these are the kind of things that they got to do to make it work, right? On the other end, if you had that offline option, right, to where it's like, hey, you allow this offline, you might get some confusion in there with the saves, or why is my progress not carrying over when I go and log in on my PlayStation after I've played on an Xbox, or with blah 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 blah. And the answer would be like, well, because you didn't play it the way that your progression would carry over, and like that's kind of can be confusing in its own right as well. So while I understand that there's people that would like that option, it seems to me like if you are having a cross-platform, cross-progression game, having just one system that just kind of seamlessly works across everything is the easier answer, right? And I think that's one of the reasons they went this direction. However, like I said, if you have disagreements on that, you can have pushback, allow completely offline play, no accounts required, all that kind of stuff. Hey, right? But I would like to point out the very specific thing that tends to be overlooked from the PlayStation fan base and from the people that are just going after Xbox and saying this is poorly designed, blah, 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 blah. And that is the fact that PlayStation is the only platform where this is an issue. Now, why is that? Why is PlayStation the only platform where you actually have to pay for not one, but two PS Plus subscription services to access this functionality, which the developers have intended? Well, that's the issue. That's the bigger issue. That's where you go into the fact of like, what's really going on here? And it again ties down to cross progression. I honestly think this is a whole situation goes back to something that's been argued for a very long time about PS Plus and requiring a subscription to access cloud saves. PS Plus is required to have games saved into the cloud, and if you say, well, that's not the issue because of this or whatever. Okay, well, then the other potential thing would be like, oh, Xbox designed this to where it's making it seem like it's an online thing. So their PlayStation is counting it as an online game that you're playing. Well, my answer to that is Xbox also charges for online play on games as well. But Xbox gamers don't have to have Game Pass Essential, a paid multiplayer access subscription service to access this game on Xbox consoles. Only PlayStation Network does. So I don't think that's the issue. I think this ties down to cross progression and the progress being saved to the cloud. And now we're like, well, other games can do cross progression and not require blah 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 blah. Not full cross progression. Not what they're trying to intend here. Because one of the things with Halo, which has been the case with Halo, is if you are playing with an account as a secondary account and playing on your friend's match online, split screen, whatever, if you're signed in with your account, then when you're playing as that second account and you find skulls or you progress through a level or whatever, when you go and you play Halo again by yourself, whether it be on PC or on Xbox, you have those skulls. You have the levels beat that you beat with your buddy, right, or family member or whatever. You have that progression on your account. It's just seamless. It just works. That's the magic of Xbox cloud saves That has been the case for a very, very long time, which I think PlayStation is very behind on. Um, Something to where I think it's still in their clauses to where if you don't pay for 6 months for a PS Plus subscription, they will actually erase your cloud saves. They are basically gatekeeping your game progress behind a paywall at PlayStation. And that is affecting this situation here with Halo. Um, you have to have a Microsoft account to play this. The reason being because they want full cross progression. They don't want it to be just tied to the host account, right? That's like a situation like with Baldur's Gate, right? That's like a situation with many other games, right, where it's like the progress is tied just to the host's account. They want you to be able to hop into your friend's match or friend's game, play through the levels. Whatever you achieve there, you also get on your game, and that's kind of at the heart of what Halo's been doing. So, yeah, it's an intended feature. It's an intended thing from the developers. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, if you have pushback on that and you wish for just to be able to have a guest account and not have your progress be carried over, you just want to hop in and play with your friend or whatever, and then that's completely fine. I do think that would potentially lead to some questions and like, hey, wow, how come my progress isn't carrying over? All these other kind of things. But yeah, you can have pushback on that. So I think overall they could make that a feature. They could maybe end up doing an update to allow that in the future. That would ease this side of PlayStation players' concerns. But still, regardless, if they want that full progression functionality, like Xbox gamers and Steam gamers are going to get, they would have to end up paying for the PS Plus subscription because of the way that PS Plus is designed. And that's a shame. So, in my opinion, that's where the focus should be. Like, the focus shouldn't be on why is a developer making a game that has cross progression fully implemented to the point to where anything you do is going to be carried over to your own progress, because it's free on Xbox. It's free on Steam. Yeah, you have to have an account, but it's free. The issue here is if you want to do that on PlayStation, it's not. So why? This is something that's been at the heart of one of the biggest differences between these subscription services for a very long time. And unless these PlayStation guys that are just attacking Xbox for their game design choices actually start focusing their attention to PlayStation and asking them why this is happening only to us and not the other platforms, then I think you're not directing the attention that was going to make the biggest change for you. And yeah, I mean, that's just at the heart of it. That's what I think. So overall, it sucks for you guys. I'm sorry. But ask PlayStation to stop charging for that shit. Xbox gamers don't have to pay for that functionality, neither do PC players. So if you're stuck paying for it, you know who's charging you. You know who's charging you. It isn't Xbox. The Xbox account you're getting there is free. If you're on Steam, your account on Steam and the Microsoft account you're getting there is free. The one you're having to pay for is which one? Which one are you having to pay for? Which account are you having to pay for, everybody? Which account is asking you to pay to be able to access that functionality? Pay attention to who's charging you. Who's charging you? It isn't Xbox in this situation. It isn't. It isn't Steam. It isn't. It isn't anybody else. It's PlayStation. BS Gamer says they don't erase your save. You just can't access them until you resubscribe. I think there's a 6-month thing there, BS Gamer. There used to be. Yeah, I know you can't access them until you resubscribe, but I think there's a 6-month PlayStation 6-month cloud save policy. Sony's official policy guarantees that your cloud save data will be retained for up to 6 months after your PlayStation subscription expires. If you do not renew your subscription within this timeline, the files may be flagged and removed from the cloud servers to free up space. I think you need to check into the PlayStation policies, BS Gamer. Says while the 6-month window is the official guarantee, user experiences in gaming forums show that actual retention times are quite variable. So they have the right to delete your save files after 6 months. Ask for them to change that, bro. Don't come at me and say I'm wrong. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. That sucks. That's stupid. Xbox, it just works. Cloud saves just work. I think there's an inherent misunderstanding from PlayStation gamers in general, just how Xbox saves work. They haven't played on Xbox. Like, you could just sign in with your account. It could be a free account, whatever. I can play games that came out on the 360 that I haven't played in over 10 years. If I didn't even have an account or anything, I could log back into a 10-year-old account, whatever. As long as it's the same account. If I hadn't been playing Xbox for like 10 years, I could log back into that account and then access my old saves from like the 360 era. It's just there. They're just there. It's magic. It's on you can do it on PC for the games that are on PC. My saves are just there. If I go to my ROG Ally, my saves are just there. Right? I don't have to pay for that. It just works. And this is something that should have been implemented and asked for a long time ago from PlayStation gamers, especially in this digital era. But they never really had real pushback on this. It's because y'all have accepted, because it's the majority of next gen console gamers play on PlayStation, that they just accepted that's the way it is. And it's bullshit. It means that they have the right to delete it. Some say that right after 6 months they immediately do it, and then some say it takes them a little bit longer, right? But they can do it if they want to clear up server space. They'll delete your saves. Astrobot says nobody likes or plays those old games, yet we're talking about playing a remaster of the original Halo on this, in which the PlayStation gamers are upset about. And Halo is one of the most replayed games of all. Yeah, no, it's bullshit. Nobody plays those old games. Just go look online and watch some streamers playing those old games, bro. You're full of shit. If nobody plays those old games, why is PlayStation's subscription services pretty much only for those old games? PlayStation Premium's final tier is basically geared around playing old games, where the old original games are tied to that subscription service, as well as the PS3, playing those in the cloud. It's bullshit. Nobody plays those old games, bro. GTA 5 came out on the 360. It's still one of the most sold games of all time. Year after year. It's still in the top 10 year after year. What's up, Boom? How's it going, bro? You got to point the blame where it's due, guys. Because change will never happen unless you ask for it. Astrobot says, better way is to still own your old consoles. Yeah, until those old consoles break, right? Oh, shit. Your hard drive goes bad. Where are those saves, right? Where are those saves? The one cool thing about digital and the cloud saves on Xbox is that you don't got to worry about that shit, bro. Like you buy a new system, you know the game's gonna work. You know your saves are gonna be there. Like you carry your library over with you, bro. You don't have to own old hardware. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. That's why I champion digital so much, guys. Like your library grows, you get to keep playing the games, you get free updates when you upgrade your hardware. When you get a new Xbox, when the Series X came out, you know how many free updates I got on my games while you guys were paying $10 extra, or you were looking forward to remasters of like 3-year-old games. Astrobot says I delete save files all the time. Man, it would be nice if you didn't even fucking have to, right? God, that must suck. Going through and deleting save files. I haven't dealt with that since fucking early 360 generation. Before the cloud really took off and digital gaming became a big thing. Man, that's got to be like that feels like archaic, bro. You also use fucking memory cards? You going to buy $50 memory cards and fucking saving your games on that and trying to salvage how you're going to fit these games on your 8 MB memory card? That sucks, dude. I can't help you, bro. I can't help you, bro. I mean, you want to live in that era? You go live in that era. Live in that era, dude. Don't say that's the new shit. Don't say it's the way it should be. Live in that era, bro. Go. You play on your PS2. You play on your PS1. You play on your fucking Dreamcast and original Xbox and all that shit. Hey, more power to you. Those things exist. So you can go buy them. You can get them on eBay. You can go to used game shops and stuff like that. You can have a blast playing old physical stuff. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But don't act like that's the way it should be today. Don't act like it's okay for that to be the way it is today. Like we're way past that shit, man. Like the safe should just work, bro. Like if you ain't got an internet connection, and like, and you're trying to play modern gaming today, I can't help you. Like, you're either gonna have to get with the times, or you got to live in the past. That's just the way it is, right? Cross progression is a thing. It's a thing, and it's championed by many people because hey, we love playing games together, right? Or at least some of us do. I mean, it's awesome to be able to hop between different platforms and just have your save go wherever you are. Now, you may pretend like you don't care about that shit. That's because you're so isolated into one thing that you just think nothing else exists or matters. But it's awesome for me. Man, I would love if my buddy that's a PlayStation gamer came over, right? We have an Xbox on my TV in the living room. We played together. We went through like 5 levels. And then he goes home and he's on PlayStation. And yeah, he signs in. And hey, guess what? Everything that he did and I did together, it's just there for him, right? That would be sick. And he can. Unfortunately, PlayStation's charging him for that shit. PlayStation's charging him for that. I ain't getting charged. PC gamers ain't getting charged. PlayStation's charging them for that functionality. Who's to blame? Point the blame where it's deserved to be. Like I said before, we could talk about like, hey, it'd be nice if Xbox and Microsoft had like a offline mode to where you could just do it that way. Maybe they'll implement that. But that's just not the way. That's just not the way they're intended the game to be. They want full seamless cross progression, bro. They want full seamless cross progression. Sealer Bravo says, I saw my Dreamcast yesterday when I was rummaging around in a closet. I was tempted to fire up. Yeah, man. Ain't nothing wrong with retro gaming, but you got to understand that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like this is retro. This is like old school. This is what the way things used to be, and there's nostalgia factor to that, and there's like a living in the past element to that, and like remembering the good times, remembering these old games and all that kind of stuff, and having a blast with it. But that's not the way that things should be today. You know, we live in an online world. We live in a digital world. Just point the blame where it's due. Point the blame where it's due. Who's the one charging you? Who's the one charging you? It is an Xbox. If you want them to design and intent in their games for every platform, just so that way you have to spend less money, that's a you problem, bro. That's a you problem. Unless you get PlayStation to change it. But you guys don't seem like you care because you just want to live in the old 8 megabyte deleting your save era. You know, you got to delete your saves to make space for more saves there. That's what you want. Hey, that's what you want. That's what you're saying you want in the chat. I can't believe it. We asked, what's the fun of having your saves wherever you go? It's to actually be somebody that is okay with playing on multiple places and playing on multiple ecosystems, playing in multiple platforms, playing on multiple places in my house or wherever on the go, and shit just working. And shit just works. That's the fun of that. That's the fun if I pick up whatever game I have and go play and I put 10 hours into it, and let's say I'm out of town and I'm using a laptop or something because I'm out of town and I'm not bringing my Series X with me or whatever, or I have my ROG Xbox Ally and I just boot it up and hey, I don't have to replay those 10 hours. I picked up right where I left off. I don't got to worry about transferring anything. I don't got to have to even pay for a service to do that. It just fucking works. Cloud saves just work, bro. You should not be having to have a paywall for it. That's a you problem. That's a PlayStation problem. You got to ask for better. So Velzy says, so like what happened? So Xbox Wire, or not Xbox Wire, sorry, Halo Waypoint had a basically a Q&A on things to expect with like campaign evolve, so to get people prepared, right? And this one line took PlayStation gamers by surprise, and they instantly started pointing the finger towards Xbox. Like, how could Xbox do this to us? Man, why did they design the game this way? Wow, they just really like are not, you know, they're just really not doing things right for us. Blah 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 blah. Right? This is kind of like I saw Paul Tass. He's like Xbox forcing PlayStation players to go through a bunch of hurdles or whatever. Here it is. So, are there any Xbox account requirements to play the game solo or co-op? Yes, just as you do for Halo the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite to ensure smooth cross-platform progression. To play Halo Campaign Evolved, you will need a Microsoft account and Xbox gamertag. Much like any other game that has cross progression, you need an account with whatever the host platform is, the host service is. That's uploading your save data. This enables both cross-platform play and cross-platform progression. A few additional items to keep in mind for launch day. Xbox Series X and S. If you're playing split screen on an Xbox console, the second player will also need a unique Microsoft account. If you want to play online co-op, you will need an active Xbox Game Pass subscription. So if you want to play online on Xbox and co-op with people online, then you need a Game Pass subscription. If not, you just need a free Microsoft account. Steam. If you're playing via Steam, you will need to link to a free Microsoft account. Okay? No problem there. Steam, Xbox, you're good. Right? Here's where it gets interesting. PlayStation 5. If you're playing split screen on PlayStation 5, both accounts will need to have PlayStation Plus and be linked to a Microsoft account, free Microsoft account. Having these active PlayStation Plus subscriptions will also provide access to online co-op play. PlayStation's the one charging you for this shit, guys. It's not Xbox. Astrobot says, wasn't online going to be free on Xbox? LMAO never happening. Is it happening on PlayStation? Why are you laughing at Xbox for that? They're charging you too. In fact, they're even charging you for this shit when we don't have to pay for it. You want to laugh at us for this? You want to laugh at Xbox gamers for this, Astrobot? When you're having to pay for local co-op? Joke's on you, bro. Talk to PlayStation. Dr. Dingonut says Microsoft offers their save across multiple devices for free, yet they're the ones getting blasted. It's wild. Yeah. Point the blame where it's due, guys. Ask for better from PlayStation. Ask for them not to charge for cloud saves, and it'll be fine. Astrobot says I'm not getting Halo. Hey, it's fine. Then why are you here? This is about Halo. This is about Halo, bro. If you don't care about Halo, ain't no reason to be chiming in the conversation. Poison Maniac says being charged for local co-op is wild. 100%, bro. 100%. It is fucking wild. Now, like we could say, like I said before, going into this, you could look at it like who's to blame. I think the real question is who's more to blame, right? Because you could have a world where they do have the option to have offline, complete offline, like guest account style play, but then that person wouldn't have any progression. The second player wouldn't have any progression. So I think that would lead to potential issues and questions on, hey, I thought this was cross progression. These people that are playing don't actually have their progress carry over because they accidentally did the wrong thing, all this other kind of stuff. They're just trying to have full seamless cross progression in the true Halo sense, to where if you're logged in or you're on your account and you're playing with your buddy on his story or whatever, the skulls you find, the levels you beat, the stats you accrue, all that kind of stuff carries over with you into your own game. And that works. It's going to work as intended for free on Xbox and Steam. It's just not going to work for you on PlayStation. And there's a reason why. There's only one platform that doesn't work on for free. Ask them why. Don't ask me why. Ask them, ask PlayStation, why you're having to pay for this. Go ask PlayStation why you're having to pay for this. Because you shouldn't have to. You really shouldn't. You should just be able to have your account linked, a free Microsoft account linked to a free PSN account, and you should be good to go. You know? It should be just it. It should just be it, guys. I mean, it should just work. It should just work seamlessly. Starfield guy says, Mav, what's the time where you are? It is 4:40 p.m., dude. It should be 5:40 Eastern, 2:40 Pacific time. Yeah, the thing with this game, there are no guests. 27. It's like everybody is it's tracking everybody's progress. There's no guest, right? That's what I was saying. You could look at it like that and say they should allow a mode to where there's just guest play, and like that would be awesome for the people that want to take advantage of it and opt out basically of cross progression. Hey, that'd be cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You could have some confusion going on. I don't know how if it would or not. That's not what they're intending with this game, right? That's not what they're intending. They're intending everybody to have their progress tracked and be able to play wherever they are. You're going to have a Microsoft account to access it, and your progress is going to carry over. Yeah. PlayStation is forcing you to pay for it, though. That you're going to have to, if you want to do split screen, you're going to have to pay for two PlayStation Plus accounts for split screen. That means if you got like, your and I don't know how it's gonna work on for like how it's like on Xbox how you have your home Xbox and anybody else that logs on has access to the same service and stuff. I don't know how that's gonna work with PlayStation. Like, will they get the PS Plus benefits on a second account? I have no idea. No idea. But I will say you can deflect, you can point your direction in places they don't belong. But at the heart of it, there's only one platform that's charging you for this shit. One platform. And Astrobot, it's your platform. I'm sorry that is happening to you. I'm sorry that this is making you feel hate towards Halo. I'm sure you were going to be playing it. You were probably so fucking looking forward to it. It's one of the top pre-ordered games on PlayStation. They're so fucking excited to be getting Halo over there finally, and this is going to be a one-off. They were going to relish in this. We got Halo. We got one Halo game over here. They feel like they're winning. That's awesome. They go to play split screen co-op together, and oh shit, we need a PlayStation Plus account for this. We got to pay. That's PlayStation charging you, bro. It ain't Xbox. The Microsoft account you're getting is fucking free. It's fucking free. Look at who's charging you the money. Who's charging you the money, bro? Sorry. It ain't working out for you. It ain't working out for you. 187 says Halo 7 better be exclusive. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that right now because Mag had that whole thing on X and C that, you know, I don't really believe a lot of that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I like shout out to Mag. I love Mag. He's an awesome guy and stuff. But like one of the things that he read on there was about like Halo and stuff. It completely contradicts everything that they're saying about going forward and stuff. About emphasizing platform strength again, about more investment into the big franchises and stuff. And the thing that Mag had said that he read is that Halo Studios isn't safe. I think Halo Studios is definitely safe because they have Campaign Evolved coming just shortly. They also have other Halo projects in the works. You don't go out and say that your big franchises have been inadequately funded and then close the main studio that works on that franchise. Um, Black Knight says Sony didn't handle Xbox pulling the Halo trailer really well. Now, like I don't know that like this is conspiracy theory stuff. Now, do they? Is there a world in which PlayStation is so petty and bitter that they're trying to use this game to up their PlayStation Plus subscription numbers. You know what I mean? Is there a world where they're gonna try and twist that and be like, hey, you want to put the games over here, or you put this game over here, and you're not doing these other games, you took them away. Well, we're going to use this game and we're going to try and boost our PS Plus numbers with it. Is there a world in that conspiracy theory that would actually happen? I don't know, but PlayStation's been petty as fuck before, so would it surprise you? Navy Shadow says, "You know what? PS guys are right. It isn't fair. Xbox should charge us as well. So now Steam players and PS players need an active Game Pass. So now PS guys have to pay for 2 PSN charges and 2 Game Pass charges. That would be insane, bro. That would be insane." Big Blue Raven says, "Sony do anything necessary for Sony." Yeah. All right, Astrobot, bro, it's been fun having you in here, man. You know, but you're just here to troll because the shit you're saying doesn't make any sense, and you keep talking too much. Honestly, it's just keep talking too much, man. So I'm gonna do you a solid, and I'm gonna give you a 30-minute timeout. I'm not banning you.
Bye.
But if you want to watch, you're gonna have to sit on the bench for a while. I'm not banning you, but you can watch from the stall. You can go to the stall over there with the other ponies and hang out, and you can neigh together and eat some fucking apples and shit, carrots, whatever it is you eat. Get some feed. I'll stop at the feed store and make sure to bring some over to you. What's up, Portal? Go hang out in the stall. We'll have a stall. I need to have a stall like graphic on the screen. So if I can put people in like 30-minute times out and put a little picture of them just to like have them in the stall. You know? Yeah, like Portal, so you can neigh together. Nay. Xbox bad. PlayStation good. How's it going, 0 Point? This will be a lovely 30 minutes. We'll see if he's back in 30. I doubt it. He's probably going to go play Astrobot. In the stable. So we call them stalls too here. Got the stables, but they're like, you got a stall in the stable. You know? What's up, Dave? Why is Sony petty? I don't. Man, it's crazy controversy. Like, this is a conspiracy, guys. I'm up for like, what happened here? Why is PlayStation the only one charging for this? My idea was the cross progression, with the cloud saves, because it's a full cross progression, and they are wanting anybody that plays to have their progress carried over. Right now, the benefit Microsoft has there is they're forcing everybody to get a Microsoft account that plays the game. Right, so we can look at that as like, hey, is there some kind of motives there from Xbox and Microsoft? Absolutely. Otherwise the whole thing could be offline, and they may not care about cross progression, cross platform, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't fucking know who all cares about that functionality or what. I personally love that functionality, especially between Xbox and PC. I think it's great to have those options for gamers. I like being able to pick up where I left off no matter where I'm playing. That should be the way it works across the board, everywhere, for every game, in my opinion. The thing is, though, is that PlayStation wants to charge for it in this case. PlayStation's wanting to charge you for it. I don't know why. Salute to Adidas 20 member for 16 months. Appreciate you being here, bro. Now, I do have questions like, do you need a PS Plus subscription to play Halo Campaign Evolved, period? Because that would be even fucking weirder. You know, if they're not requiring it there, why are they requiring it for the split screen? You know? PlayStation is treating this as like a online multiplayer experience. It does have that option for online co-op, but why are they charging for the local split screen? The only thing you can think of and come back to is the cloud saves. It has to do with cloud saves. It has to do with uploading and moving that cloud save for each player. Xbox tax just keeps coming, Black Knight says. Absolutely. Zero Point says for a single player co op, it's crazy. Absolutely. It is. You know, like, here's the thing: we can ask for features and want features, right? And when they're implemented, sometimes they come at a cost. You know, like full cross-platform cross progression. In this case, requires a Microsoft account, right? Now, how Xbox and Microsoft are implementing this is probably using like the same way as they would for an online game, right? Where you log in with your account and hop in. But split screen on the same console, you know, Xbox treats that one way, and it seems like PlayStation is treating it as another. And the only way I can come back to again is because the save data and the progression there, right? Whereas like if you're just playing single player, there's no like online component to that, really, you know, except for just your clouds, your save. But if you're exchanging that information between two people, there's an online component there, right? Especially if the data is going to the cloud, which Xbox uses for game progression, right? Like they're using that for game progression for the individual accounts. So therefore, the whole cloud thing keeps coming up. The cloud, it has to do with cloud saves, guys. Zero Point says PS might be treating it like a live service game. Well, if they treated it like a free to play live service game, there would be no charge for multiplayer, right? But they're treating it like a live service game, like a paid for game. Yeah, maybe. South Star Online says, "Why on earth is Xbox requiring a Microsoft account to play couch co-op in the first place? The entire thing is bewildering." Because of they're doing seamless cross progression across platforms. That's why. Now I said, if I know you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, I said like there's an argument that we can easily give pushback to Xbox or say, hey, you should have an offline option as well. That you don't need Microsoft accounts for, and you could have that, and you could have like be able to sign in as a guest, all that kind of stuff. You know, knowing that those people aren't going to be able to retain their progress, right? Those people, the guest players, aren't going to have their progress carry over. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. You could have that, and I think that would be fine. I think Microsoft would say, and what their excuse is that would lead to some confusion on people that are using guest accounts not being able to have their progress carry over to their game because they didn't realize they were signed in or not signed in and all those other kind of things. So that's probably what they would say, right? And we could look at that, like I said, like I think my Xbox and Microsoft's motive here is to have more people have Microsoft accounts for sure, and have the data all go into the cloud and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, but it's not really necessarily a problem on Xbox or PC. Because if as long as you got an online connection and as long as you can have a free account, which is super fast to make a free account on Xbox, it takes literally like 10 seconds. I mean, you just go in there and it just does it for you. You just put in the fucking an email address. It'll even make you an email address. Like, it's super easy to have a free account on any of these platforms. It's really not an issue. It's really not an issue. Like for that. It's only an issue here because PlayStation is charging for it on their end. Because if it wasn't that, then we just look at this as the same thing. Hey, why are you having online for a single player game? That we've had that conversation, a million times over, right? A million times over with different games that are single player, but they require online, or you got to have a. We've had those conversations tons of times, Um, there's online functionality with this game because of online co-op, all that kind of stuff. That's one of the reasons why they're doing that. But like, we've had those conversations, right? And there could be warranted pushback on that. 100%, there can be. But this whole thing of PlayStation charging for that functionality is a separate issue. The whole thing with PlayStation charging their customers for that functionality that's free on Xbox and free on Steam is a completely separate issue, right? You can have it develop. All these people say, well, they should be able to make the game as they intended. Like you can't say that all the time about developers and companies with wanting to do the game how they intended, and then say, well, in this case they shouldn't because PlayStation charges for it. They shouldn't have to cater how they design the game around PlayStation's policies and how they fuck over their customers. So there's two separate issues. Like I said at the beginning, again, the question here is not necessarily who's to blame entirely. The question is who's more to blame, and entirely up to PlayStation and who they want to charge for what services. That's not a Microsoft issue. That's not an Xbox issue. The Microsoft account you're using to log in is free. Xbox users don't have to have Game Pass in order to play this game if they buy it. They could buy the game, and then you don't have to have Game Pass. You can just have a free Microsoft account, and you can do this between split screen. Your cloud save will be there. Your cloud save will work. You have cross progression across PC, ROG Xbox Ally, your console, all that stuff. It's just gonna work. Steam, it's just gonna work. It just works. It just works. It doesn't just work on PlayStation. You got to pay for it. That's a whole separate issue. And that's where these PlayStation guys should be pointing their focus right now. Instead of like, hey, Xbox, why didn't you make the game catering to PlayStation policies, and so that way we don't get fucked? So you wanted them to limit their intended functionality on the game because PlayStation decides they want to charge you guys more for basic services than other platforms. No, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. Fix your own shit. Tell your own favorite platform that they need to fix their shit. They need to stop charging for cloud saves. They need to not charge for functionality like this. Is PlayStation Network or Plus and whatever they're calling their online PlayStation Online, whatever they're calling their online services, too stupid to realize the difference between two people playing on one console and playing online? Do they not have the ability to track that? I don't know. Whatever the issue is, that's PlayStation's fault. And maybe eventually the Xbox will end up catering and have an update to allow for that to offset the bad policies at PlayStation. They shouldn't have to. Maybe there'll be enough outrage from Xbox gamers and Steam gamers and everybody about having to have a Microsoft account. I don't know. PC, if you're playing on PC, you probably got a Microsoft account anyway. I mean, you're on the PC. Game Shark says this is what Sony does. They even charge developers money if not enough of a percentage of micros aren't brought through the Sony store. Yeah, with the whole cross platform stuff. Yeah, they have fees and shit like that. Stubbs toe. Damn you, Xbox. It's because they'll claim they're using it as a doorstop. Black Knight. Yeah. They'll claim they're using it as a doorstop. Right. Oh, I stubbed my toe. Damn it. Fuck this Xbox. Poison Maniac says forcing accounts is garbage. Dumb when Xbox does it, forces it. Dumb when PS forces it. It's to fluff their MAUs. Hey, well, like I said, we can have a whole discussion about that, right? You know, there's a whole debacle with Helldivers too when PlayStation's figuring out how to do PC gaming, and the whole PSN linking was broken at launch in Helldivers 2, so they disabled it. Meanwhile, what happened is they let floods of gamers for countries and territories that don't have PSN to get the game and play the game for months. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're reinforcing this because we finally fixed it, right? And then all of a sudden, you have hundreds of thousands of gamers lose access to a game they bought and played a lot of. So then they're forced to retract that again because they just unleashed a shitstorm upon themselves, right? You have situations like that. You know, it's not new that for games that have online functionality or whatever from different platforms or different even publishers require you to have accounts. That's been a thing for a long time, right? It's been a thing for a long time. And I think it depends on the level of cross progression and functionality that they're going for with these games, depending on what is necessarily required in order to make that functionality work. And in this case, I think there's an obstacle, or not an obstacle. I think there's one of these features that PlayStation is saying, well, we got to charge for this, but Xbox doesn't. Negan says every year they keep saying or asking, "Are you buying this year's Madden?" I buy every year's Madden. I buy every year's 2K. But just because I don't want to wait, like I don't want to wait 6 months to a year to play those games on Game Pass. I'd rather play them right away. If they came day one, fuck yeah, I wouldn't buy them. In fact, like if you get EA Play, you can play Madden on PC. EA Play Premium. I mean, yeah, we all had our accounts. I mean, it's gonna be funny seeing like the PlayStation gamers posting all the Halo clips. I'm looking forward to that. They're gonna be posting the PS5 Pro clips, like, oh, the Halo looks best on PlayStation. You're gonna see a ton of that shit. All these people that are bitching today, you're gonna see them bragging about Halo when it launches and saying it plays best on my PS5 Pro. It plays best on my PS. I'll be playing it on fucking my PC, getting way better performance than they do on the PS5 Pro. Death60 says, "Do I play on Xbox and PC?" Yeah, absolutely, bro. I have multiple Xboxes in the house. I have my ROG Xbox Ally X. I have my PC that I'm sitting at right here. It's an AMD 7900 XT, 32 gigs of RAM. I'm good on PC, man. I get a great performance on games. I'm able to take advantage of a lot of like enhanced features. I play a lot of games in ultra wide format. You know, Xbox gives me that advantage of being able to hop between the three. You know, I'm sitting in the TV in my living room or in my bedroom. You know, just turn on the Xbox, grab the controller. My daughter has an Xbox in her room as well. Right now, I have her Xbox set to my home Xbox, so she gets all my games. Um, and my Game Pass subscription right now is how I have it set up. So yeah, like in the Xbox ecosystem is sick, man. And the saves just fucking work everywhere. The saves just fucking work. And even on the PC for Steam, like we have it set up for the Steam family thing. So we got all my Steam games. My daughter can play in there. My wife can play on her PC. It's right over here, right next to me. All that shit. You know where you can't do that is PlayStation. It should just it doesn't. They want to charge you for the cloud saves, right? You have to pay for that functionality, and that's what's going on here, guys. I mean, you can't even play. You're not even going to be putting the single player games on PC anymore, or or most of them. I think there's still a slight window, and mainly from the second party published games. I think that's why they worded it like that way with the Nishino guy, about PlayStation and their PC ports and stuff. Like, like they're going to look at the games and if what best serves the games, kind of basically what he put it, the way he put it. Whereas internally, they've been definitely saying single players only going to PC. I mean, only going to PlayStation, no longer PC now. But like, they also do a lot of second party published games, and I think they're not going to be able to make as many of those deals with those second party games. So they would still want to be able to call those second party games first party, right? So when they have like you know, um, a exclusive game that they're publishing, but it's from like a Kojima or from like um, the Stellar Blade developers or whatever, and it's like they have that game and it ends up being on PC and PlayStation. I think they're wording it like that, not just cutting it off, because like that way they can claim that those like, hey, this is our first party published game, published games. So there's still a window, on certain games, but I think their tentpole first party studio games are going to be single player only now, with maybe a super rare exception. But like people can make an argument that hey, that's not what's best for the games, just like people are trying to say for Gears on Xbox. Nobody is trying to make that case for PlayStation games. They're just saying, hey, they're treating their console players the best. It's such double standards going on out there, man. Yeah, Death6 says, yeah, PlayStation sucks, man. I'm all in on Xbox, PC, and Rock Xbox Ally X. I have a RTX 5080. It's awesome. Yeah, man. My wife's on a 5070. My daughter's on a 5070 as well. I'm on my AMD 7900 XT. We're all fine. Like, I don't got to really, we got our PCs at the right time, I think. We don't really got to worry about upgrading, I don't think, for a few years. I think it'll probably be like 3 years, 4 years, maybe Nvidia or AMD has something that I was like really worth diving into at that point. We'll have some maintenance and stuff like that. Hopefully, not too much. Hopefully, all the components last the whole time. That's the one thing about PC gaming is you never know, is your power supply gonna have an issue, is your CPU gonna have an issue, your fan's gonna go out or whatever. That's all just kind of part of it, when you have a gaming PC. But I think we'll probably be pretty good here, man. You know, yeah, I love it. I love the ROG. The ROG is awesome, man. Just being able to hop on, and I use it to play a lot of like the arcade style games, just because it's better for a smaller screen. So at night in bed is ROG time. We're watching a movie, you know, watch a show or whatever. I'll grab my ROG, turn it on. Progress is just there on every game. I have all of the Game Pass shit. Um, awesome, man. Loving it. Poison Maniac says you could also have to make a Microsoft account if you're using a different OS account on PC. Yeah, like Mac OS or Linux, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a smaller subset of gamers, I think, for sure. But yeah, that definitely exists. Black Knight says, "Gotta love how one week they're bragging about getting Halo on PS, and the next refusing to buy the game because of couch progression due to Sony. Like they were gonna buy the game anyways. They're still gonna buy it, bro. They're still gonna buy it. And honestly, if they really want to play a split screen that bad, they're gonna give PlayStation the money for it. If they really want to play split screen that bad, they're gonna pay for that second PS Plus account. They will, because they're just full of shit. They don't actually hold PlayStation accountable for nothing, man. They're saying they're boycott this, boycott this. Full of shit, bro. They're excited for Halo. They've never had a first-person shooter like Halo on PlayStation before. And Halo campaign is one of the most beloved and replayed campaigns of all time. It's gonna do pretty well over there. I don't know if it's gonna go gangbusters, but I think it's gonna do pretty well over there. Yeah, it's like one of the, on the GOAT list of greatest games of all time. A lot of people have Halo CE, or they'll have Halo 2 or 3 up there. It depends on what your favorite is. So it's a really full blown remake. I mean, they're doing a lot on this game. It looks great. I think on like if I'm being honest, like I think the whole way of doing the progression, like the full cross platform progression, is pretty awesome. Um, to be able to have your, like if I'm playing with Kate and she's playing split screen with me in the bedroom on that Xbox, and let's say she has the game on PC. Let's say we for some reason we got a Steam code, and that's how she has it on PC or whatever, and can just hop on there and then pick up where we left off and had all of her progression and shit. That's sick. That's fucking awesome. Deathlover says, "I hope Halo does well on PlayStation, but I highly doubt it." Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. I'm gonna be real curious. It's Halo, Halo's a big deal. I think people say Halo's dead, Halo's this. Anytime there's any big Halo announcement, it's a massive deal. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna do. Like, I think the casual PlayStation gamer might be very intrigued to buy Halo for the first time if they've never played it before. The question I do have is like how many have played it before, and I think there's a lot that have. Um, Mr. Miss blah, blah, blah. So to be fair, if you're on PS and want to play co-op with a friend, that friend would probably have a PSN account anyways. I think of it more from the family perspective. I think maybe just because I'm a dad, you know. But like, if you got like siblings or something, and you get Halo and you're playing, and you got like for the family one PSN account for that PlayStation, you know, and you and your brother or friend that comes over to your house or playing it want to play it with you, then that may be something that comes up. But yeah, I do think a lot of people probably already have multiple PSN accounts. But it's gonna be interesting to see like the pop up come up for the second player, being like, "Hey, you need this to play. You need to subscribe to PSN Plus or PSN Essential or whatever, $9.99 or I don't even know how much it is to play this." And they'll be like, "What the fuck? This is a single player game." Meanwhile, on Xbox, we ain't gonna be dealing with that. We ain't gonna be dealing with it on Steam either. That's a PlayStation thing. It's a PlayStation thing. They're the ones deciding to charge for the service. Like, if there's a service that's being charged for, it's up to the provider of that service to decide who to charge for it. It's not up to the people that are making a product that's free in other places. Right? Poison says 25-year-old campaign could be another Gears of War Reloaded type situation. Maybe, but I do think that Halo is bigger than Gears in general. Like, I mean, Halo was like the most played multiplayer game back in the day. You know, like Halo 2 and 3. Um, and then COD ended up finally kind of taking it off of its mountain. Um, but yeah, like Halo's a different animal, man. Navy Shadow says that's why when the few people actually talked about Sony increasing the price of PSN just for the online, I said they just increased the price on cloud saves. Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's crazy. Like, a lot of people, we all want free online for consoles, right? It's a double standard that PC gamers don't have to deal with it. But it's even worse when you're having to pay for your saves. That's just garbage to me. You having to pay for your fucking saves, guys. And it's just crazy. And if you let your account go, if for 6 months, they have the right to delete them. Any of the saves are in the cloud. It's insane. I'm looking forward to Campaign Evolved though. I mean, what's its official release date again? July 28th. I mean, we're looking at a little over a month away. I'm pumped. Are you guys looking forward to it? Are you guys gonna play it? You're gonna play through the campaign again, like day one? Shane says the issue is like all the other issues on gaming Twitter. 99% of real people don't care or know about it, but people don't understand how algorithms work and their timeline tells them it's an outrage, right? Because if you're on gaming Twitter, then you're getting a lot of gaming Twitter stuff, so you're going to see a lot of that conversation. I do think there is kind of like a thing that happens though where there's a lot of big creators, Shane, and a lot of YouTubers, a lot of streamers, and all that kind of stuff, gaming news sites that pick up on some of this, and then they permeate it to their channels that spreads into the casual market more. So it's kind of like, yeah, there is this like core small community that creates all this in the first place, but then it kind of spreads from there, right? And that can be um, positive news. It could be, you know, negativity. It could be outrage over something. It could be celebrating something, and it kind of creates this kind of like hive mind effect in some ways, So I think it's important to get the right information out there, um, so that way people can see things for what it is and try and point the focus where it should be. Like the focus needs to be in the right place on the bigger issue at hand. Is there an issue that there's a single player game that's doing cross progression that decided not to do a completely offline functionality mode for players as well, right? Yeah, you could look at that. We've argued those things numerous times, right? But we can also look at the bigger picture about why is this not being something that's an issue on Xbox? Why is this not an issue on Steam, but only PlayStation players are having to pay for it? Right? That's the bigger issue. That's the bigger thing that people should be asking about and pointing their direction to, about why do PlayStation players get less value for their services, for the platform? Why are they asked to pay more than other people? And I think they've just come to accept that reality over the last couple of generations. And there's not enough pushback on that. Instead, whenever there is any kind of thing like that, they kind of either use excuses or deflect, or they point the blame at somebody else. And really, that's why the cloud saves are still behind a paywall. Because if there was enough outrage from that community, then it would have been changed by now. But there hasn't been, right? So we're left here in this situation now where again they're pointing the finger at Xbox, yet they're the only platform that's charging for this. Yeah, exactly, Navy. Let's see. PlayStation needs to just make their PS3 version backward compatible. That's something that they also haven't asked for enough. It's behind a paywall as well. Behind the cloud streams for the PS Plus. I think premium or maybe extra. I'm not sure. But yeah, they're content with it, man. They haven't asked for them to, figure out a way to do native emulation and give them the licenses for their games back and let them be able to play those games natively on their PlayStations. They haven't done that. They've accepted the reality of paying more for services and for content and for less functionality. And in the subscription services, less value as well, just in content, because they don't have day one games, but they're just content. Instead, they rather point the fingers at the people that are offering better value and say that's the issue. They're like, this company is giving their customers too much value. That's a problem. They should be more like us, charging us more for less. That's the right way to do things. It's such a weird mentality. Such a weird consumer mentality. You should be asking your preferred place to play to step it up, right? But that's never going to happen unless the conversation changes online and the narratives change. Unless the finger pointing starts going to the other end, right? Instead, it's just always put Xbox in a negative light, make PlayStation good, because more popular. So therefore, we're just always going to promote this as positive. Everything that they do is okay. Taking games away from PCs, fine, right? Xbox taking away games from PlayStation, not fine. PlayStation charging for the same functionality that Xbox and Steam are getting for free. Um, it's their fault. They did it to us. PlayStation is doing it the right way. You can't make this shit up, man. Yeah, I mean, you really just can't make this shit up on how the mentality works with gamer culture online and social media. And like I said to Shane earlier, yeah, it's like the small core focus in the gaming community that creates these narratives, but that permeates to the casuals. So it's I I I I couldn't imagine being in Xbox's position trying to change the mind share, you know, in this day and age. PlayStation can close more studios. They can cancel all their projects, flip flop on direction of their first party studios and IPs, change the platforms on which they're being made for. They can do all that stuff. It's completely fine. They don't get any pushback from it. They can have layoffs. They can have massive issues. But they're selling consoles, so everything's good. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Microsoft bad, Sony great. Yeah, 100%. Def. Has it been 30 minutes yet? Where's Astrobot? Did he leave? I'm gonna laugh my ass off if he actually shows back up in here. Matt McDonald Media says, "Hey Mav, is the Switch 2 just as powerful as the Series S?" No. I have a Switch 2. But honestly, Matt, all you have to do is look at the third-party reveal trailers for games that are being ported to the Switch 2 and look at those and the quality of those games, visuals, and how they look, and then compare them to the visuals and how they look on a Series S. Because it is astoundingly different. Astoundingly different. I will say first party Nintendo games look really good on there. But yeah, those third party games just don't. I mean, bro, you know, like I don't know what to tell. I mean, that's the choice of drawback of being tied to a handheld device that is not like a super premium expensive handheld device. Like to really get high performance and quality out of a handheld device, you're going to be paying a shit ton of money. I will say it's way more capable than the Switch One was, and it's closer. It's allowing for these ports to be made. But you look at the resolution, the just the graphical fidelity on these third party ports on a lot either Western games or even a lot of these Eastern like games that are like hack and slash action games and stuff. Like they just night and day difference between like a Series S and a Switch. But that's not. I mean, for some people, they don't care. That's like that doesn't matter. So if that's what they like, that's fine. Yeah, Switch Two is more. I would say more comparable to like the Xbox One and PS4 like generation. But I would say like, I mean, I don't want to be too controversial, but I would say that like games on the Xbox One and PS4 like would still look better than what they do on a Switch 2. Except for like maybe the Nintendo first parties. Thanks for the question though. I have all. So it's experience. I think Donkey Kong looks great on there. But stuff like if you watch Nintendo Direct, some of those games that are like it's the third party ports, man. They just look atrocious, bro. The Series S is great. People make a big deal about like one or two different issues that came up this generation, with like split screen co-op and Baldur's Gate, or just, but they got it to work. They got it to work and it was optimized, and that ended up helping all the platforms. It comes down to optimization at the end of the day. Will I be playing Ocarina of Time remake? Yes, I'll play Ocarina of Time remake for sure, bro. That's like one of my favorite Nintendo games ever. Ocarina of Time was a classic. Now, I do need to actually see the game. They didn't show us the game, So I say that, but like we haven't seen anything like about what they're doing with it. If it's in the line of like what they did with some of the other Zelda remasters and they called them remakes, then no. But if this is a full on remake, you know, full on building the game up from scratch into bring it into like a Final Fantasy VII style or like a Resident Evil thing they do with their remakes. If it's like that where it's like a remake, Halo Campaign of All of Oblivion remaster, even though it should be called a remake because of how that game has a different complete feel and graphics, But you know what I'm getting at. It depends on the level. All we had was the shot of Link laying in the bed, and I mean, it looked like a completely different game there. But I want to see like what the gameplay is going to look. I want to see what it actually is. And I will say the very promising for me with that little snippet though is that it looked like the envision that I always had of what Zelda could become somewhat instead of having to do the over stylized artistic um hand brushy type feel look that they had to do with Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not that those are bad games. I think they're fantastic games, but it's like they have to make the game look a certain way because if they try and go for like really crazy good graphics, it's not going to show off well. So instead you go for more of an artistic style, which plays well, and it's also always can it has a lasting appeal, you know. It's not going to look aged or whatever. It's just going to always last because it has that a certain character and style to it as opposed to like going for more pure graphical fidelity, And like what I saw from Ocarina of Time from that little snippet was more of like there actually are in that little instance of going for more of like the fidelity side where it's kind of looked like what I envisioned Zelda becoming at one point. You remember when I think it was Miyamoto at one of the Nintendo conferences back in the day was like, this is the future Zelda, and he had like Zelda showing and it looked like crazy graphics and stuff. We never saw that game. That game never ended up coming out, came to fruition or whatever. But like I always had in my mind, like, yeah, that's the Nintendo I wanted. I wanted them to start to keep going that direction and pushing things more and all this other kind of stuff. But when they decided to go handheld as the primary focus, that changed the direction of the company and the kinds of games that they were going to be making. And there's a lot of Nintendo handheld fans out there, so I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, but it does handicap them on what they're capable of, right? From a game design perspective, um, which is it's fine. It is what it is at this point. They're not changing. It worked for them, so yeah. The diehard Nintendo fans seem to love it. I personally would love a more traditional console again from Nintendo, but I'm probably never going to get that. So instead, I've become more because of PlayStation's focus into the kinds of games that they were making, and Nintendo's focus into going more into that handheld world to where they've been a little bit more handicapped and stuff. Xbox increasing the amount of games they're making, still investing in the games that I like, plus also giving me more value in the ecosystem and all that stuff. I've become less Nintendo and PlayStation over this generation than I ever have been before. You know, over the last two generations, it's kind of like I was pretty spread out. Where I had a preference of Xbox ever since Xbox existed as my primary place, but it was always like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and play for a little, play here for a little while, and then the Xbox is kind of like home. But like over the past two generations, it's just slowly dwindled down to where it's like I'm like 90 5% Xbox now, and I'm including PC with that because Xbox PC is where I also play. Like, and you have a little bit of time for Nintendo, a little bit of time for PlayStation. You know, this is Matt says, "Can we say that Xbox maybe should consider more artistic style with their games so they can have lower budgets and hopefully bigger payoffs? New Fallout spinoff on 100 million budget, for example." I mean, that's a good question. Um, I think there's definitely room for all different kinds of things. I think they need to, on the big franchises, I think they need to make more different kinds of experiences. Does that leave room for some kind of lower budget experiences within those big worlds? Possibly. I think it depends on the idea behind it and what they create. I don't think you want to create something just for shits and giggles of being able to make something smaller. I think you got to really have a clear vision of what it's doing for the franchise, what it's doing for the platform. You know, I do think there is a world where smaller budget games in big franchises would sell better than smaller budget games in new IPs like South of Midnight, Kiln, Keeper. Like if you have something smaller that's Fallout or something smaller that's Halo or something, I think they have a chance to do better than those. That's like kind of this like what PlayStation did with Sons of Sparta, but like that's not a good example of what you should do because that doesn't really serve the franchise very well. Like it isn't serving the characters, not serving the world really well. It's just kind of like it's like it was just made to sell something for a cheaper budget. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Mac 22TH54 with the $2. Appreciate you, bro. Says I've been done with Nintendo and PS for a while. Fair enough, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like they've each gone towards their specific audiences, and those audiences have kind of like like gone in different directions, from me personally. Truth Serum says, "Do Kiln is the proper example." I don't. What do you mean? Like, I don't think like Kiln or, um, even though it's like you can play the game and it's like feels, hey, this is well made. Hey, this is actually kind of fun, right? You can have that, but it's not really reaching an audience. It's not serving the platform. It's not. Nobody's excited for it. Like it. Why is you don't want to make a game that you just wanted to make for yourself. You want to make a game for gamers. You know what I mean? And that's where sometimes these art house style games can kind of get lost. It's like I want to make my vision because I believe in it and or whatever, but you're just kind of making something that only you're interested in, and it's not any excitement about the idea or concept from people out there. And it's like, what, like, it's cool that it exists, but it's only going out there to eventually just be into the ether. It's gonna be released. You can have some people try it, say, "Oh, this is cool," and it's not gonna turn into anything. What the reason I didn't use Kiln instead of Ghost of Sparta is because we're specifically talking about making smaller games in big franchises. True Serum. Kiln is not part of a big franchise. It's its own thing. Maybe you missed that part of the conversation, but I was answering the question about smaller games in big franchises. And that's why I said, like Ghost of Sparta, because that is that example. It's a smaller game in a big franchise. But I don't think that served the franchise. Kiln was its own thing. I was saying that I think like maybe a smaller Fallout game could actually do better than something like a Kiln. Um, that I mean, I would think that it makes sense to you based on the question that was asked. And my answer. I'm not saying you have to agree, but that was my answer to the question. Black Knight says in the dev direct, it looked like they advertised how many free pottery classes they were taking, then making a game. Yeah, I've had a thing about Kiln ever since it was like rumored to be the next Double Fine game. We did get Keeper in there. I think Keeper is another example of one of those games. It's cool. It might win a couple of awards here and there for like art and stuff, but it's not like people are just dying to play it. Cool game, little interesting experience. But would something in a big franchise maybe move the needle more for them? Move the needle. I hate that term. But would it do more for the platform and would it draw a bigger audience? Probably so, right? Doesn't mean that games like that shouldn't exist. I just don't know if it's like Xbox is in the mindset of wanting to invest in those kind of games anymore. Instead, they're focusing on the bigger franchises more. So we'll see what they do. There's an audience for those kind of games. The budgets are smaller, but it ain't doing anything really for the Xbox as a brand or platform, really. Um, so I would like to see like you could look at an example like Halo Wars, right? Halo Wars has a smaller audience than Halo, but it does have a kind of a hardcore audience that's really into it, and it still does pretty well. And it isn't crazy expensive for them to make Halo Wars, because it's RTS. So like, is Halo Wars 3 something I think they should do? Yeah, because you're serving a different audience that's into a different kind of game, but it's also in a franchise that people love and it already has a following. So that for me, like, how much funding does it take to make a Halo Wars 3? You take maybe 3 of those smaller art house projects, the resources you would have put into those, and you maybe make a Halo Wars 3 instead, and you're probably going to have bigger results from that from a platform side. I'm talking about the business right here, True Serum. What do you mean? What do I care about the platform? It used to be all about value. Hey, bro, do you not understand the difference between Xbox and their business, and then what I care, like me as a gamer? We've had those discussions numerous times, dude. We have those like if you can't distinguish discussion about what Xbox is trying to do and what they think is best for them between what I'm talking about, I care about, then that's a you problem. That's not a me problem, dude. Sup, Phasma, how's it going? From day one, bro, when they did the whole exclusivity thing and started putting games across to other places, I was saying from a business perspective, I think it's a mistake. I think that they are going to have some brand damage and all of this kind of stuff from it. But I also said for me as a gamer, I don't care. I care about my experience, right? I care about what I'm focusing on. I ain't leaving Xbox because somebody else gets to play a fucking game. Like, I would just be screwing myself over, right? I care about the value I get. But I can talk about what they are thinking and what they're doing from their business side and their mentality, as opposed to like what I necessarily see as like the right thing to do. There's two different elements there, man. I think that people mistake when you talk about suggestions or things that you think would be good for their business, you're saying that's what you like think is best for you as a person. It's two different conversations, man. Well, fuck. If we're just talking about what I want, I think Xbox should make fucking Mech Assault. They should make bring back Perfect Dark, Project Blackbird. We should bring back Halo Wars 3. We should make that. We should do fucking like fucking make online Xbox Online free. You know, we should have Xbox consoles drop by $250 everywhere, so that way we can all buy them and they're all fucking affordable again. Hell yeah, let's fucking go, man. But I can't sit there and actually have a serious conversation about their business and say that that's all those things, that they should do those things just because I want them. It's not a me problem. The last 2 years of you pretending to be above console war was diabolical. Dude, if you go back to 6 years on this channel, I want PlayStation to succeed. I want Xbox to succeed. I want Nintendo to succeed. I have issues with shit, a lot of shit that PlayStation does. I have a lot of shit with stuff that Nintendo does, and I have some issues with some of the things that Xbox does. And I call out Xbox shit just like I ever call out Nintendo shit and like I call out PlayStation shit. I think there's a massive double standard out there. I think it's bullshit, and I think it's got to be called out when we see it. Point blank. We see the double standards all over the fucking place, right? But you can't say that me saying I don't care about exclusivity is the same thing as me saying that it's like business wise didn't make sense for them to do it, like to go multi-plat, because I've always said that. I have seen people try and change their narrative to become more like mine now when they were saying that Xbox should stay multi-platform. I never said that Xbox should stay multi-platform because it's better for their business. I never once fucking said that. I always said it's a question between what they're looking at with the platform and the strength they're wanting to go with the platform versus what they're doing with their games. And that was the reality of the situation. Right now, Xbox is bringing the competitiveness back to the platform side. I never cared if PlayStation guys get those fucking games or not. It wasn't affecting me either way. But I super appreciate them fucking being competitive again. And I'm going to bring the energy for that. I'm going to bring the fucking energy for that. I ain't going to fucking pretend to be fucking like that I don't prefer Xbox. I fucking said it 10 times on this stream. I've always said that. I love all the platforms. I want Nintendo to do better for me. I want PlayStation to do better for me. I have massive issues with the directions of those companies for me as a gamer. But then in a business wise, do I think Nintendo's killing it? Hell yeah, they are. Right? Hell yeah, they are. Part of the reason is gamers don't speak up about the shit that they do. Same thing with PlayStation. They're selling fucking shit ton of consoles. Are they killing it as a business? They're selling a lot of consoles, but they also have a lot of issues. And we're going to call that shit out just like we do Xboxes. Yo, Silent Cypher member for 17 months, bro. Appreciate you. Says, thanks as always for the content. Appreciate you being here, bro. Yeah, my dream world, right? My dream world, guys. There's no exclusivity. We go to the store and we buy a console or device based on the merits of the value of the services and the hardware. And we choose what's best for us, and we can access our content anywhere, because that's what fucking happens with media in every other category. Music, movies. We're choosing the devices we experience those things on based on the quality of those devices and the value of the services they are providing to us, right? In a dream world for me, that's what we would be doing, right? That's what we'd be doing. However, that's not the reality of the business. That's not the reality of the business. That's not the way us gamers twisted minds work. We want to be fucked by these companies. I don't understand it, but that's what we want. We want that competitive edge and stuff, right? And because that's what we've been trained to do. We want Nintendo to do that. We want PlayStation to do that. We want Xbox to do it. And that's the reality of the situation. So guess what? When they're bringing that energy back to those fuckers that are doing that stuff to them, I'm going to champion that shit because fuck them. Appreciate the 5. Why is there such a delay? Brian Hopkins with the 5 gifted, bro. Appreciate you, dude. You rock. I gotta turn down that delay. It should be fucking riff after riff. Was that 5 yet? Was that 5 riffs? Bruh. Not yet. There we go. Why is there such a fucking big delay on that shit? That's crazy, dude. It's like fucking 10 seconds. Rock on, motherfuckers. Yo, Brian, appreciate you, bro. Seriously. Appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, we're not in the reality of like pro consumerism in the gamer world. We want exclusives. Everybody wants we want competition. And what I care about most, honestly, is just them bringing that competitive edge to bring the brand back to have energy behind it. You know, like I want them. I can't help it, dude. I don't know why when I see your I gotta say your name because like I just like how I first met you. I think I don't know. I don't know why. Silent Cipher, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, it's like I love the competitive energy, bro. Like I get in Gears E-Day specifically, right? When they announced that's going exclusive, was I gonna not play on Xbox if it was fucking multiplat? No, I was still gonna play on Xbox. If anybody went to sell their Xbox to go play Gears E-Day on a PlayStation, I'd say why? You've already been playing on Xbox. Like you obviously had it for a reason. You like the ecosystem. Why are you all of a sudden gonna leave just for that shit? I call those people fucking weird, right? Uh, but do I like them being more competitive against PlayStation, who fucks them over constantly? So that way, you know, the brand has more strength and platform strength. I think it's a better business decision. I could say that too. And what I will also say is seeing the reaction and the fallout from Gears E-Day being exclusive and the tears and the bitching and complaining and people saying that they don't deserve to be able to have exclusives and like people like Greg Miller saying that Xbox should stop making hardware. What are they even talking about with exclusives? All this stuff is like such a fucking entitled mentality that these PlayStation gamers have that they think that the only way to success is through them. That screw PC gamers, screw Xbox gamers, screw anybody else. They don't matter. All that matters is PlayStation and the power of it. And that's the way to greatness, is the way their mentality works. And anybody that's trying to challenge it or trying to do something for their own business or whatever doesn't deserve the right to do so. I say fuck you. Fuck you for that. And for that reason, I hope you never get a fucking Xbox game again. I really do. Because your bitch ass like just went out there and said you hope Xbox stops making hardware. Like what the fuck is wrong with you? What about all the fucking Xbox gamers that are super invested into it? There's 30 million Xbox Series X and S gamers. There's still a shit ton of Xbox One gamers out there. There's the Xbox PC app gamers, there's Game Pass subscribers. There's all these gamers that are super invested in the Xbox, that loves the Xbox, and want to continue playing on Xbox and want to have a vision and future for their hardware. Xbox is trying to be more competitive to bring that. And your answer with them doing that is to say that they should kill hardware because of restructuring their business, just like PlayStation did this generation. Just like PlayStation did this generation, they restructured their fucking whole fucking business model too, bro. They've had a lot of layoffs. They've closed more studios than Xbox by far at this point. And we're not looking at them saying, why did you do that? Why aren't you putting your games on PC? All that kind of shit. You ain't saying that they need to put their games on PC to survive. You ain't doing any of that shit. Why is there laying off studios? Why aren't you saying that PlayStation should stop making hardware and should just put their games everywhere? It's because you love it. It's because you just want the fucking games there. And I just wish that people would be honest about it instead of lying through their fucking teeth and pretending like they're all these like non-biased, altruistic for the gamers people or for the studios, when the reality is you just want every fucking game on your PlayStation and that's all you give a shit about. That's all you give a fucking shit about. And that's all you ever have given a shit about. And it makes it really fucking clear over the past week what you've always been about. Mr. P.S. I love you. I find it kind of funny that you're saying this shit now. Coming out of the closet to be who you always were in front of the whole fucking gamer world. Just say you want Xbox to fail. Just say you don't want them to exist. Just say you want their games on your PlayStation, and then you'd be happier. Because I know you don't even like playing on PC. So fuck off with your bullshit. I hope you don't even I hope they fucking make Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive. I hope they do. Just to watch your bitch ass whine. Just to watch you cry. Watch your fingers tremble and shake as you're forced to hold an Xbox controller. What's up, Chris Jones? How's it going, bro? True serum, he literally said that he would walk into Satya Nadella's office and tell him to stop making Xbox hardware. So that way he could play his art house studio games on his PlayStation. I mean, what more evidence do you want than that? And people say, well, you can't just watch the clip. You got to watch the whole episode. They're the ones that fucking made the clip and chose that clip to be put on their fucking social media.
About what their true motives are. TTS.
Razor, appreciate you with the $2, bro. You rock, man. Thanks. Appreciate the support. They're the ones that chose that specific clip to clip up and put on Twitter, right? He had something to say. He said it. He ranted about it. He let his emotions come to the surface, and he said what he felt, that he thinks that Xbox should stop making hardware. And he didn't just speak for himself. He included Paris in that. He said, Paris, me and you are smart. Because the first thing we would fucking do is walk into Satya Nadella's office and tell him to stop making Xbox hardware, let all of these studios make their games, save all the studios, and just put them everywhere. That's what he said. He doesn't want Xbox to be competitive. He doesn't want the platform to be strong. He doesn't give a shit about Xbox, and he definitely doesn't give a shit about the Xbox platform team or anybody within the Xbox ecosystem, because what would happen in that situation? Think about it realistically. Think about the fallout that would happen if Xbox actually just ceased to stop making hardware. Well, you'd have all the platform and hardware team layoffs. You would have the whole storefront start to crumble within, as 30 million Xbox gamers that are looking towards the next future of Xbox would have no place to go. And when the next PlayStation, whatever, they're like, okay, well, I'm a console gamer, I'm going to end up having to go that route. They would end up dwindling down the storefront. They would make less money, which would end up having even a bigger fallout.
Watch the whole episode? I don't want to watch their complete episode. Greg is a goat. Paris looked extremely uncomfortable during that rant too.
Yeah, I tried to ask Paris in a different chat if he clapped back at Greg, and he said to watch the whole episode. I ain't doing that. They're the ones that chose to put that clip out there. I don't have time to fucking go watch their whole episode. I would rather not. Instead, why don't you just speak up and say what your retaliation was? What was your clapback at that? Because he spoke for you when he said that y'all would walk into Satya's office and say to stop making Xbox hardware. We as gamers, PlayStation gamers, Nintendo gamers, nobody should want that. Nobody should want that. It's not good for anybody. Appreciate the 5, Brian. Or fuck, I did it again. Silent Cypher. Damn it. Fuck me. Appreciate the 5, Silent Cypher. Watch the whole episode. I don't want to watch the complete episode. Greg is a chode. Paris looked extremely uncomfortable during that rant too. Razor Ultron with the 2 says, Mav, you're 100% about their true motives are to talk that shit. It's obvious. I mean, they said it. They chose the clip. I watched the whole clip like 5 times, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, are you deaf, dude? Like, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? How can you mistranslate that they would walk into Satya's office and tell him to stop making Xbox hardware? How can that be misconstrued? Tell me how that's off base. Explain, please. Like how can that be taken any different way? It's the reality is he's been a PlayStation guy. He's always been a PlayStation guy. When he worked at IGN, he was the host of the PlayStation podcast with Colin Moriarty. He plays on Xbox, but he doesn't prefer Xbox, but by any means. By far, he prefers PlayStation. He also hates gaming on PC and talks shit about PC gamers all the time. So he doesn't even want to play there. He likes PlayStation gaming, right? He could be mad, and okay, so True Serum, he says he's mad that they want to shut down the small studios. Well, okay. Well, where was he when they shut down all those fucking PlayStation studios? Why didn't he complain that they should stop making PlayStation hardware when they closed more studios than Xbox did? Make that make sense. They have a double standard there every time there's any fucking bad Xbox news versus bad PlayStation news. It's been the reality, just like the Insomniac leaks. Oh, we can't do that to Insomniac. We can't cover this. Right, but they're just fucking jump all over anytime there's an Xbox leak that comes out there, including this. Including this was a rumor that started. I mean, it's leaks. I mean, this is going to happen, right? We don't know if they're going to be sold off or what. Yeah, nobody wants that shit. That doesn't mean that you should jump to the fucking just end hardware. That's like a fucking leap, man. Like, you go from like being upset about some studio closures or possibilities of studios being spun off to go independent to jumping to the conclusion that Satya Nadella should be eating a bag of shit and that Xbox hardware should be stopped and all the games go multi-platform so we can keep those studios. That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying. The reality is we just saw who he was. In his moment of emotion, in his moment of ranting, where he let it out, he let it out for the world to see, where he really truly feels about Xbox that they should stop making hardware. So fuck him. I'm an Xbox gamer. I want Xbox to continue to exist. I want hardware to continue to exist. I think people like him spreading out the stuff that he's saying is bad for gamers in general. I think the double standards that they portray is bad for gaming in general. I think they should be covering all the platforms with the same light. I think when Xbox has less closures than PlayStation has had this generation, that should be brought to light. I think he should be asking why. I think he should be looking at the business model of PlayStation and say, why are you going back and forth and waffling on your business decisions and restructuring? And why do
Greg is up for banging on Xbox because they didn't have him in one of their video games. Oh, did I say the quiet part out loud? Oh shit, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Silent Cypher with the 5, bro. Appreciate that. So, True Serum, his idea is to stop making hardware to save to save a few studios. What does he think is going to happen if they stop making hardware? The money is in the platform, the storefront. That's what Microsoft is interested in, is having a strong storefront for people to spend money in. That's the whole reason the platform of Xbox fucking exists. What does he actually think is going to happen if they stop making hardware and the console base just continues to dwindle down to almost nothing over the next decade? What does he think will happen at that point? Does he think that there's going to be less studio closures? Does he think that PlayStation should put their games on PC, and that also that PlayStation should stop making hardware and just go full multi-plat as well to save their studios? Because they've had a lot more studio closures than Xbox has. In recent times. Instead, it's painted as, oh, this is an industry issue when PlayStation does it. This is an industry problem when PlayStation does it. Oh, we gotta hope they can figure out how to operate in this industry because it's such a tough industry. When Xbox does it, stop making hardware. We gotta stop. You gotta stop making hardware. Just go full multi-plat. Why are you talking about fuck that shit, bro. They have a right to be competitive and exist just as much as any other fucking platform. And Xbox gamers shouldn't feel fucking ashamed of being Xbox gamers. I'm sick of that shit too. Anytime we fucking go on Twitter or we're doing a YouTube thing or whatever, we're like, we prefer Xbox. People are like, why? They have no blah, blah, blah. They have blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, because we like it. Do we have to explain ourselves that we fucking like a platform and the games that they provide? Do we have to explain the fact that we're getting date games in a subscription service? Do we have to explain the fact that they're giving us more value on console by allowing us to play our games on console and PC and handheld devices and in the cloud for all the same fucking price? Do we have to explain the fact that they have way more fucking games that they're putting out than you are? Do we have to explain any of that shit to any of these fucking people? No, we should be fucking proud of it, and we should also enforce the fact that we should expect these things from other platforms because we're eating good over here in fucking Xbox land. We're fucking proud of this shit that we get to experience, right? And when people go out there and just constantly talk shit and say that it shouldn't fucking exist because of this or that or whatever, well then how about you bring that same fucking attention to your own preferred platform? Because you don't fucking care about Xbox. You don't fucking care about that shit. You don't care about the Xbox gamers. You got to stop fucking pretending to. Because when you go out there and you say shit like that, it just puts it all on the fucking table. It puts it all out there for everybody to see who you really fucking are. You're fucking Mr. Pony number one, and all you want to do is go out there and say why Xbox deserves to die. So fuck off. Appreciate the $20, True Serum. Appreciate it, bro. What's up, Big Mad Mo? Razer Ultron with the 2.
Xbox without console is 10 cent and Game Pass is done.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you asking for? You're just asking for him to die. I mean, that's what they're asking. That's what they say. Bro. Ugh, fuck, I almost said Silent Cypher. 5 more gifteds, dude. You fucking rock, man. I love Queen 2, man. Appreciate it. We got some more risks coming. God, I gotta turn that delay down, dude. I like the riffs, but I don't fucking want there to be like fucking 10 seconds between them. We gotta fucking rock on here, bro. Yes, it was red. Appreciate that, Razor, so much for the 2. You guys rock. And again, thanks, True Serum. Thanks for the 20, man. I know I'm going back and forth, man, giving you a hard time, but I just appreciate the support. I always appreciate you being here. What is the fucking okay? How many was that? Was that 4? Oh shit. Um, is it? I'm gonna try this and see what happens. We'll see if that changes. All right, there. Jagos is talking to Vin. Says there's no more Bungie. There's shell of a company now. Yeah, man. I mean, like I think Jez put it out there. Like with the potential layoffs at Bungie, that might be more people than all of those Xbox studios that are rumored right now combined, which would be a fucking shame. You know, I hate the state that Bungie's in. I mean, they changed gaming twice. You know, they changed gaming with Halo. I'll say 3 times. Bungie changed gaming. They changed gaming with Halo Combat Evolved being the we need a fuck counter. um, I don't know what it would be at right now, but yeah, they changed gaming like with Halo Combat Evolved, bringing the shooter experience to consoles in a big, meaningful way. Um, they changed gaming with Halo 2 with online matchmaking, and that was a new thing like back then, and revolutionized online gaming on consoles after the birth of Xbox Live. And then they changed gaming with Destiny becoming that first like games as a service like 10-year thing, you know. Became a monster. You know, they dominated the shooter space and gaming conversation for 3 generations, really. And this gen, they've kind of just faded off, you know. Maybe the worst thing that could ever happen to them was being acquired by Sony. You know, they were looking for sale, they were looking for trouble. Pete Parsons, you know, was doing his thing. He wanted to build up his car collection. So, you know, they talked Sony into spending so much money. You know, they kind of dilly dallied with Destiny some more. You know, they had a great last expansion, and then Marathon was their go to thing to reestablish everything, and you know it just hasn't caught on enough for them like they hoped it would because it's chasing trends, man. You fucking just chasing trends. Like it can't be your all. It can't be your only go to. It can't be your all in. You know, you have something that was cemented. They've abandoned. Bungie's fucking crazy. I mean, and maybe this is Sony's fault for not picking up Destiny 3 and saying that it's going to be too expensive for them to invest in long term. I don't know. I'm not sure. But Bungie's fucking crazy. Because as a company, they've made the decision in one way or another to abandon 2 for sure franchises that keep them safe as a company. Like, I mean, like they had Halo. They wanted to do more than Halo. They wanted to jump ship. They let them. Okay, they nailed it with finally they well, I mean, I wouldn't say nail, but they eventually nailed it with Destiny. Right? Hey, that ended up finally working out for them. Then they abandoned that. Like those 2 franchises were their like safe house. You know, they were like it kept them safe. now we'll see how long they continue to exist. I mean, maybe the name alone is worth keeping around. Don't know. Event says, if you think that 400 million loss on Concord is hurting Sony gonna lose 3.6 billion in just a few years after acquiring Bungie. Yeah, people always like, the whole Gears thing. People are like, oh, Gears' budget's 400 million. How do you think they're gonna recoup that without releasing on PlayStation and stuff? And then like, if you mention Concord, they're like, oh, you're just going after Concord because it's easy. Like, what do you make it? Concord is 400 million. What do you make a Gears is 400? Well, Gears is gonna do a fucking lot better than Concord. You can trust me on that. Like, there's no fucking comparison between those two because Concord is the most monumental failure in the history of gaming. It's a big budget game that they had their future stocked up into that released and they killed it 2 weeks after it launched. That is like one of the most insane things that ever. You know what I'll be doing 10 years from now is playing Gears E-Day. It'll still be there. It'll still exist in my library on Xbox. Unless Greg Miller gets his way. Like, you talk about fucking waste of bad investments. Studio-wise, how many studios did PlayStation acquire this generation that they already closed? It's been insane. It ain't just Bungie. It was their whole direction. You talk about restructure. You talk about reset. PlayStation reset twice this generation. Reset twice. They reset first when they decided to go all games as service. Then they reset again when they decided not to. They reset twice. Massive executive restructuring. They've had massive closures of studios. All this stuff. It gets painted over with the brush because they sell a lot of consoles. Meanwhile, the games aren't selling as well as they used to for them. They've admitted that numerous times. And their answer, where people were complaining about Xbox for taking games away from PlayStation, their answer was to restore faith back in the platform again by taking games off of PC. Like, similar mentality there, just a lot less extreme on Xbox's side because Xbox still has PC and console and Game Pass and all that other kind of stuff, right? Just talking, Nate Dogg. How's it going, bro? We're just chilling, man. Yeah, they reset. They reset twice. But now they're fucking over their customers, making them pay PS Plus subscription prices to be able to play a fucking split screen online game or split screen console game. Nobody else is making them pay. The Microsoft accounts you're getting are free. Steam account you have is free. Only one making you pay is PlayStation. Why? It's the cloud saves. It's the fucking cloud saves. Something that should have been axed a long time ago that the PlayStation community doesn't understand how much of a problem it is because they don't even understand how Xbox does it. They don't understand how the saves just work. They don't understand how it just fucking works. Cross progression, is a thing that I think should be able to be implemented, in full cross progression without any issues, but here we are. These guys are going to have to pay for 2 PS Plus subscription services in order to play split screen co-op on Halo. It's fucking asinine. And people choose to say, well, that's because of the way they designed the game. Well, fuck, it works great on Xbox and on PC and on Steam. Look at the people that are charging. Who's charging? Who's charging the customer? Who's charging for that functionality? There's only one company deciding to charge for the functionality that the others aren't. I can log into it. Yo! Dude, appreciate you, Silent Cypher. Oh! I fixed the delay. There's way less of a delay. You rock. Let's keep rocking. Thank you, Silent Cypher. You rock, man. 5 Fun Speculation memberships, dude. I have to go on my phone and give my wife a code. Bear with me, everybody. You're working, Cyber? Right on, bro.
What's the UFO community have against a nice shirt?
What? Dan Lazaro with the 2. I appreciate that. Am I don't know what you're talking about. I need some context. Are you talking about, is this have something to do with Elon or something? That caught me off guard, bro. I know I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. I'm having to try and log into an account I never use. Game Pass came out in the Xbox One gen. I can play the old COD with the on the X with my 360 save file. Absolutely. Yes, you can. Welcome. Riff makes you want to play some Rock Band. Right on, dude. I miss Rock Band, man. I miss Guitar Hero. I miss all those. Like, it was really cool having like that whole era. But we ended up having like, if you ever remember going into GameStop back then, and they just had like 1,000 fucking used guitars behind the register. I think the hardware side of it, like as far as the accessories and stuff, like became kind of a little bit of the problem at the end of the day, because like they just, when people were done, they just kept selling them, trading them in, and then it's like there became a overabundance of them out there in the market, and the companies weren't selling as many. Um, I'm trying to look for Dan's context. Did you add any context to your super chat, Dan? Or does anybody have any context to the UFO shirt comment? What's the UFO community have against a nice shirt? Do you know what that means? No. I don't know. I don't know. Um, you miss GameStop midnight launches. Met some interesting cats. Yeah, I do miss it. too. Like the whole time, you go to GameStop, and like me and my wife would do is we go to GameStop, go to do the pickup, then we'd like run to Walmart right after, and we'd get like fucking Doritos and Mountain Dew or whatever bullshit like was affiliated with the promotion they were having for the game that we're getting. Like Halo was usually Doritos and Mountain Dew, right? So we'd go like get Halo and do that shit, bring it home, and then I would play Halo with her with like fucking Dorito fingers and juiced up on Mountain Dew, and it was great, great times. Um, and then wake up the next day and just fucking play all day. However, I do like also just having instant access to the game with pre-installs as well. So, there's not the whole event aspect of it. However, there's definitely a convenience factor to just being able to like have the game ready to boot up after it goes live. It was fun waiting in line for concert tickets too. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of cool just to have those experiences. Yeah, it's like there's definitely like convenience have taken away a lot of social experiences from us in general. That's just the way of technology, right? Dova says you went back to do physical games for your PS5 and Switch too. Right on. Like I was talking about this before, is like Gamefly is actually like a really good option these days, because people always like attack Game Pass and stuff, but you can get any fucking game on Gamefly day one. I mean, if you I think you gotta like be in line for it and stuff, but like if you're cool with physical, you can like use Gamefly still, and they sell all the games too. So even like for Xbox, how you go into like a Target or whatever, and like, oh, all they got's the cards now for most games. Like if you want a physical game, like you can pre-order a lot of that shit on Gamefly still. In a weird way, it's like kind of one of the best values still out there, even though it's like in the physical world. Like you can buy accessories, games. You get all fucking platform subscription services. Like you can get Switch games, you get PlayStation games, Xbox games, um, third party published games. Like I don't know like why we generally in gaming just kind of got away from that. Maybe some of you are still really big Gamefly subscribers, but I think it has a lot of merit in these days, with how expensive games are. I mean, $70, $80, like for like a new Nintendo game is like $80. Yeah, it still exists, bro. Yeah, Gamefly is still ticking, man. They're still out there. They're still, I mean, it's worth checking into. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you can get any of the games that are released physically on Gamefly. And it's like, man, I should have thought about this really more when games went up to 70. Just about the value proposition there, because like our expendable income is like this, especially now, is just like dwindling with how expensive everything is. So subscription services in general are, I always champion. Like even when like I had Blockbuster. Do you guys remember that Blockbuster had fucking subscription service like for game rentals? They had ones for movie rentals or game rentals. So you could get like, they back in the day there's like two plans. You could like, hey, this one's just for movies, or this one's for movies and games. And you could go in there and like sign up to that so you could have like one game checked out at a time. You just go, you keep a game and you go into Blockbuster, swap it out for whatever else they had. I did that shit. I loved it. Um, I don't, I don't know, man. I'm trying to check. Trying to check. Um, Gamefly digital stuff. Ew, that doesn't work. I don't know if they have digital stuff. Maybe they have like Game Pass cards and stuff like that. Um, I put a link in the description for you guys if you want to try it. There's like a 30-day free trial because I am an affiliate of Gamefly. So it helps the channel. Anybody that does try it out or whatever. But I think that link should work. I have no idea. I've never put one of these in the chat before or in the description. Um, I'm trying to see though if they have digital stuff. Let's see, for new releases, they have Elliot, the new Elliot, that Elliot game. They have Lego Batman. They have UFC. This is for Xbox. They have Bond, Forza, Invisible Versus. Um, like I said, UFC 6 for Switch. They have all the new Switch stuff on there. Final Fantasy. Star Fox is coming on the 25th. They have that. crazy. I'm gonna start using it. Um, renting games is for brokies, as Sebastian says. Yeah, I like. There's a mentality that people have had out there, but like nobody ever said that stuff back in the day when we rented games at Blockbuster, you know, or like whatever local store you have. You playing Lego Batman right now? Right on. Like nobody ever said that shit back then. You know what I mean? Like it was always like, um, cool. That's what game you're playing. Nobody cared about like all of that stuff. And, like Game Pass gets so much hate. Um, like, well, I buy my games. Um, so I have some partnerships, Truth Serum, because I joined this site that I put the channel on, and like it allows like partners to reach out and stuff. And I've never really 6 years of doing this almost, right? 6 years of doing this stuff. I don't really pay attention to the analytics stuff, you know. Like I like seeing, hey, cool, the subs are going up, you know. Like I want to hit 5,000. I'm not saying I don't, you know, but like I never like, oh, this video is gonna get this many views, so I'm gonna make this kind of video just for that. I just always kind of do whatever I find is fun, you know. Um, but I was like, I've never reached out. Like I get sick of seeing guys that have like these shit takes and that are complete grifters and stuff, like get codes for games and stuff. You know what I mean? All the time, and I'm like, so anyway, I signed up for this site that's like, hey, just put your channel out there to like have partners reach out to you and stuff. So, um, I recently uh had contacted from numerous different people to be like partner slash affiliate, and I don't even understand how this stuff works. I'm just being honest, because it's not what this channel's about. I don't even know how to. If anybody is an expert at partnership and affiliate stuff in the chat, I'm asking for your help because I don't know how this stuff works. Like with YouTube and stuff, they don't tell me anything. They don't have all these like do's and don'ts. They don't have any of this stuff. But um, I got an email from Razer. I say I was accepted to their partner program, Steel Series. I'm an affiliate with Steel Series. I'm an affiliate with Gamefly. I'm an affiliate with GOG. Ask Greg. No, I ain't talking to that dude. With GOG. So there's like 5 different and I was only looking at ones to accept that are like products that I use or stuff that I think is cool or that is good or that fits with the channel, you know? Um, but I don't know what to do with any of it. So, anyway. It's not like they're sending me free stuff, you know, but they sent me all these links and stuff. And like, I don't know. The only company that sends me things is Gunner. Which Gunner's awesome. I've talked about them. They have like the Fallout glasses and stuff that if I'm streaming, you may see me using these. But yeah, but Gunner rocks. I never thought I would wear these, but I actually like using gamer glasses now. So I don't know. I don't really like as a channel, I don't like pushing products and stuff on people, you know? Really? Um but if somebody sends me something I think is cool, I'm going to say it, you know? Jago says, "But it seems like some people in the come across are smoking or snorting something in the chats. There's a lot of that, I think, going on, Jagos. There's a lot of trolls, you know. There's people that come here because they like the conversation and they like to try and debate. I think there's like, I would say there's probably like 3 or 4 guys that are starting to come to this channel consistently that are here just to try and debate me. Which honestly, I don't mind that much because it provides content and allows me fuel to like give my opinions and thoughts. It kind of think makes it more entertaining for you guys too because I get kind of amped up, you know. So they may be trying to trigger me, but like it's not actually triggering me. It's just kind of like fueling me, if that makes sense. And like I think that's can be kind of good for just fun. Um, and the majority is like all you guys have been here and hang out and enjoy uh, just rocking with me. Yeah. So there's I have three pairs of gunners poison. Actually, I have four. Fuck, I have 4 pairs of gunners. I have 3 Fallout pairs, and I don't have my new pair up here. I don't think. I think it's downstairs because I just got those. But yeah, these are blue light glasses. They're blue light blocking glasses. So there's Brotherhood of Steel edition Fallout glasses, and these are like $100 a piece, guys. These are like no joke, and like they're like super high quality, right? So these like these Fallout ones. These are the Brotherhood of Steel ones. They're kind of like more aviator style, right? Um, and it's cool because they like give you like a slight like zoom in effect, you know. But it's also makes all the colors pop. I don't know how to explain it unless you actually try these kind of glasses. Yo, Brian, dude, appreciate. Fuck, Silent Cipher. I don't know why I can't get that out of my head. Silent Cipher, appreciate you so much, dude, with another 5. Maybe a giveaway. Maybe I'll do a giveaway. So I got these are these the Area 51 Brotherhoods? These are the Silent Cipher, you rock, bro. Appreciate the 5 gifteds. These are the Brotherhood of Steel ones. They come in this case. I have a video. I posted a video. And they come with this pouch. And they also come with like a wipe cloth. Which I don't know where it went. And so there's these ones. And then I have these ones, which this is like the Vault 33 ones. They come with the double-sided cloths and the case. And these ones are the Vault Tech ones. Yeah, but they like it's kind of like zoom and it makes it pop. Bro, I never thought I would wear these kind of things. But they actually rock. So these are the Vault Tech. The other ones are the Brotherhood of Steel. And then I think my favorite pair is these ones. These are the Cyberpunk ones, Cyberpunk Dex editions. Um, and they come in this like it's like a puff jacket, you know. It's like super shiny. And they come with the cloth too. And they're like just like super futuristic looking. And there's like a lot of detail on these things. Like you can't. They're all kind of like collectible. And these ones are the ones you probably see me wear the most when if I'm doing a game stream. That's show and tell time. Yeah, I love these things. What's happening in the chat? What's up, Boogie? How's it going, bro? I liked your song, man. Was that you singing? They singing, dude. You got a good voice, man. The Boogie is put a song on Spotify. It's really good. Well, I don't even know what's going on between Razor and Poison in the chat all the time. You guys are crazy. You asked for Cage says I asked for blue light blocking lenses for my glasses. So you can get these prescription too. The Gunners, you can order them on their site and get them in your prescription. So they have like different colors too. So they have like a dark amber and then they have like this light amber one and then they have like blue color. And you can get them in those or you could also get them with your prescription. I need to check and see if I have any like discount codes or anything like that. I don't know if I do, honestly. Yeah, I need to. That's Kate, like what Kate said. I need to ask them for a discount code. Yeah, these things are sick. He started it. You got an album dropping soon, Boogie? Right on, dude. Like, are you doing all the instrumental and everything is like just you? Thanks for sharing the Discord out. Yeah, hey guys, we do have a Discord if you guys want to hang out and check that out. Anybody that isn't aware that the link is in the description below to the Discord, as well as Poison puts it in there during the shows. Yeah, right on, Boogie. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, have fun with that, dude. It's good to have like outlets, you know, gaming. For me, like YouTube content, making content. This is like an outlet for me, you know. Like you guys are like hanging out with you guys is like just fun. And yeah, I get passionate and rant and talk shit sometimes. I still don't know what the fuck Dan Lazaro was talking about with the UFO shirt. I want to know. Um, but yeah, I just like hanging out with you guys. You're right on, man. Dragonfly asked, "What exactly is Discord?" Um, the best way I can describe Discord is like a very interactive forum that also has the ability to do voice chat and stream and stuff like that. So like people will have like community servers. So like we have a fun speculation community in there. So like there's like a general section where like people can just like communicate and just talk about whatever, you know? And then there may be like different categories where they click on, okay, we want to, this is for food pictures or for like screenshots for games, or hey, what movies are you watching, or like what music do you listen to? And so there's sections for all those different categories. And then yo, Silent Cipher with 5 more gifted, bro. You're fucking on fire today, man. Appreciate you, dude. Seriously, you don't have to do all that, but I super appreciate it. Again, like support here is never expected, but always appreciated, dude. I like that it says who got the memberships, you know? So yeah, like I think there's one more coming. There's like all these different categories for people to have conversations and share stuff, right? And then there's separate area where it's like if people want to like, hey, they want to hop in a lot, like there's like lobbies, like you can look at it like Xbox Party Chat, you know? It's like a lobbies where you can like have voice communication, so you can like play games together, right? If you want to share your screen, you can share your screen through it. If you want to like be on camera, you can be on camera through it, you know? And that's what we use for like the Fun Speculation podcast. So like when me and Fuzzy are there, you know, or whoever, me, Fuzzy, Jasper, or even when we're doing like the co-stream and the reactions, you see the vertical slice of all of our cameras. We're all just in Discord, and I'm just, you know, laying it out like that. Yo, Leonard Herrera, you rock, bro. 5 Fun Speculation memberships. You guys are going crazy with the memberships, man. Yeah, so Dragonfly Jones, if you want to join the Discord, there's a Poison put a link in there a minute ago, and also the there's a link. Oh fuck yeah! In the description below, there's a link to join. You appreciate your Leonard Herrera. You rock, man. Yeah, shout out to Fuzzy. Silent Cipher says. Shout out to all of you guys hanging out. I'm hoping people will listen to the beginning of the show and put the attention where it's deserved on the issues with Halo split screen. Y'all are giving me Tourette's. Yeah. Love what you guys do here, just hanging out, Leonard. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Yeah, it's been fun doing more streams the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so. I guess maybe kind of leading up to Xbox Showcase and then following Xbox Showcase. I had a little more time here and there during the day. You know, right now it's Saturday, so we've just been hanging out to do more streams. But I appreciate you guys for showing up for them. And like I said too, I'm trying to do some more things with the channel. So like, you know, I'm gonna try and maybe take clips from my streams because I don't like making videos. I'm just gonna be honest. I used to try and make videos occasionally, and it's just a bitch. I'm not Colt Eastwood. I'm never gonna be Colt Eastwood or any of these guys that do these edits on these videos. I don't have the patience for it, you know. So I'm probably gonna take like moments from streams and then upload those for like shorter digestible content for people that aren't here for the long streams. And I know even if you guys are here hanging out for the stream, you're probably not here for the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? So like anybody that's here right now probably has no idea what I was doing for the first hour and a half, you know? So maybe there's like 5-minute segments of clips of where I had a rant or some bullshit. Somebody triggered me in the chat or something. I don't know. And I might take those clips up and put them as videos, on YouTube, just as like pointed topics, just for like easier to digest content. Um, that's something I think about how to do more videos and stuff, and I think that might be the answer. Um, so I did one of those last week, and it got a lot of comments. It triggered a lot of people. I think like I never had that many comments on anything I ever did on YouTube. It was like had like 50 to 60 comments on it just from people like arguing. It was crazy. Yeah, Boogie, you can put a word of the, in the Discord. I know you sent it to me on the messages thing, but if you're in the Discord, you can put it in like the what are you listening to thing on the music section, you know? And that way people can find it there. Yeah, appreciate you, Sebastian. Yeah, this community rocks, man. It does. I love this community. I always have. A lot of people have been here for long time. Gonna give me a neck sprain. Oh shit. Silent Cypher, fucking give me a neck sprain. I got a headbang this shit. Yo, Silent Cypher, dude. Appreciate 5 more memberships. What's the craziest concert you guys have ever been to? Ah! I I went to, I don't know if there's any guys from like the Dallas area in the chat that are like around my age, but we used to have a concert here annually called Edge Fest because we had this radio station called 102.1 The Edge. And it was like in the alternative grunge era, you know? And it was like, every year they had this concert the for the radio station, and it became a big thing. I mean, big bands showed up for this concert because Dallas market's pretty big, and that was the number one like current rock station going on. There was a classic rock station called the Eagle. That's 97.1 that plays a lot of the stuff that 102.1 used to play back then, because now that's like older rock to them, right? But 102.1 The Edge was like, they had like, they're playing a lot of Nirvana and like fucking Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Stained, Corn, Limp Bizkit, Tool. And they're playing like everything that was like cool in that era. And I went to Edge Fest because I won tickets online because I couldn't afford to go to concerts when I was a teenager. I won the tickets by calling into the radio station, and it was a big deal because this concert was always sold out. And they had Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, 311, Oleander, uh, fuck, who else was there? Trying to remember everybody that was there. But anyway, the crowd was wild, bro. It was 100 degrees outside at least. And it was full of teenagers outside. And, there's like 7 bands or something. And everybody was crowd surfing. I was crowd surfing all over the damn place. Everybody's mosh pitting, crowd surfing. There was girls like taking their shirts off all over the place and stuff. Like the band was like cussing at the fans and stuff. The bands were like cussing at like it was insanity, man. I think it was like maybe 2000. Yeah. Okay. Here it was. Oleander, Splendor, the Nixons, Bowling for Soup, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Everclear, and 311. That was an insane. That concert was insane. Yeah, have y'all ever seen the video of Metallica playing in Moscow? There's that concert where like Metallica played in Moscow and like Pantera played there too. Is all this like this big rock concert that they put on. I've never seen Metallica live, unfortunately. I haven't been to many concerts in my life, period. That Moscow Metallica concert was insanity, bro. That it's like the most insane thing I think I've ever seen as far as like amount of people for a concert. I highly recommend watching that. Also, ACDC was there, I believe. And if you ever watch like videos of ACDC concerts, they go hard live, man. You want to see a Rammstein concert? Du, du hast Neve. Metallica is effing amazing. Yeah, I love Metallica, man. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh, yeah. My brother got me into rock when I was like 12 or 13. So he's like 6 years older than me. So when I was like 13 or 12 or 13, my first CD that I owned, he got me for my birthday, was Bush, Razor Blade Suitcase. It was Bush's second album. And then when he started driving and stuff, like he would always play rock in his truck. So it was like you listen to Marilyn Manson or Tool or Alice in Chains or like um fucking I don't know, just so many different bands, man. Metallica, Pantera. He was listening to everything. And it's kind of introduced me to that, and I became like really big into especially like alternative and grunge rock, but also uh like Metallica and stuff like that. You know, more like I don't know if I've. It's not really. I don't necessarily consider like Metallica super heavy metal. You know, they're not like as like extreme as some of the other bands because they're a little bit more melodic with the way they play guitar and stuff. You know, but they also go really hard too. But it's not like Pantera. You know what I mean? Um, so like I was really into all those bands and stuff, but I also liked R&B. I also liked country. Um, I grew up on country like as a kid because that's what I was always on. Like 80s and 90s country is ingrained in my brain. If an old country song comes on from 80s and 90s, I know it. Probably 70s and 60s too. You know, like it's just I just know it. You know, I can't help but know it. So it's just a part of me. You know. But growing up, I also like I loved the whole R&B era of like um 112 and like Genuine and all that shit. I liked all the alternative and grunge rock and stuff. Like I said, you know, like Nirvana and Bush and Fuel, um, Everclear. I also liked a lot of rap, but not like it depends on what I like. I liked Dr. Dre and Eminem and like Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Biggie. You know, a lot of the mainstream guys. I like the Rough Riders. Um, C Murder. I had a lot of rap albums, but then also was like I liked pop okay too. Very wide interest in music for me. You never warmed up to country. A lot of people haven't, you know, and that's fine. I completely get it. I completely get it. You know, my daughter says she hates country, but then like occasionally she'll be like, "I like this song," you know. Sometimes I'll get into moods of playing country for a while and then get out of it, and you know, usually like what we listen to is like pop music, like on the radio these days and stuff. But if I have like a Spotify list or something, I'll put like a lot of rock usually on there. And if we're like vibing at a party or something, we'll have like R&B and shit from like the 90s and 2000s. You love country, Leonard? Which games do I like that have the best soundtracks? This one is gonna surprise you, but the Outriders soundtrack. I don't know if y'all remember the whole fucking like intro song for Outriders and stuff, but that shit hit hard, man. That Outriders song for the intro and stuff was crazy. That was great. Um, Besides that, I actually love the Starfield soundtrack. Actually, I love the compositions for it. I spent a lot of time listening to those on YouTube before the game even came out. I like Zelda's themes a lot. Um, Man, I mean Halo, obviously, especially Halo 2. Halo 2 is goaded. Yeah, the Command and Conquer, Hell March, Boogie, dude. Boogie. I don't know if you got Command and Conquer Remastered Collection on PC, but they redid a lot of those songs. They like remastered a lot of those songs, bro. Like if you get CNC Remastered Collection on PC, it's usually like on sale for super cheap, and it has a lot of like the original Command and Conquers and then like some of the Red Alerts. I think Red Alert 1 and 2, and they redid a lot of the songs, and it's fucking epic. It's so good. Halo is the shit. Yeah, Halo's absolutely the shit. Um, I mean, I think South of Midnight actually had it. South of Midnight was interesting, but because it was actually original songs while you're playing with lyrics that actually added to the story, which I thought was very like a new thing. It was really cool. But I wouldn't just like listen to one of those songs like I love this song. You know what I mean? But it was cool that it was doing something for the story, you know? CNC Music Factory. Fuck. Name a CNC Music Factory. Not CNC Music. CNC. This is Command and Conquer. We're talking about Command and Conquer. What's the CNC Music Factory song, babe? It's a band, CNC Music Factory. Yeah, it's fuck. I know that, but I can't tell you what song. Yeah, CNC. We're talking about Command and Conquer. There's a remastered collection on PC on Steam. We're in the EA store, but you know, see on Steam, and they have like Amazing songs. It's like rock. It's hard rock songs. God, what did CNC Music Factory sing? Everybody dance now, down, 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 down. Everybody dance now, down, 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 down.
Wait, you bringing up C and C? My favorite.
Appreciate the $2, Silent Cipher. Um, yes, Command and Conquer, one of the GOAT franchises that has been abolished. It's gone. It needs to come back. I'd recommend Silent Cipher if you haven't tried it. Tempest Rising on Steam, and it is a love letter to Command and Conquer, made from a lot of former developers at Westwood Studios, and it is awesome. And they even have the same kind of music. It's got like the same vibes. I don't know if it necessarily has the same good balance that Command and Conquer had. That's kind of been some of my issue with it with skirmishes. It seems like the battles in the matches tend to go a little fast, and it's also a lot harder than I remember Command and Conquer being. But Tempest Rising on Steam is really good. If you want Command and Conquer vibes, get Tempest Rising, dude, because it is the new Command and Conquer without being Command and Conquer. Yes, that was epic, Brett Bingham. Absolutely. Yeah, Doom's had great soundtracks for sure. I mean, I honestly I think Halo probably, if I actually was to pick just overall what game has the best soundtrack in general, period, it'd be either Halo 1 or Halo 2. Yeah, Westwood was amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing. I want Halo Wars 3, guys. Fuck. I want Halo Wars 3 so bad. They are making a Star Wars Total War game, I think, right? There's some hope in that. That could be pretty cool. Pong Soul and I are talking about. I was playing Age of Mythology last night, but like Pong Soul and I talk about RTSs a lot on our shows and stuff because we just have a love for that genre. And like I feel like it's been trying to make a comeback, and I feel like it kind of has. These games are still going to be there and exist now for us, which is awesome. But like I want to see some more big franchise RTSs. I want to see more cool shit like that. Like Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth 2. So fucking amazing, man. So amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the best say Halo songs though are just like when you're like just going into like in a vehicle traveling or something, or you go into a new area and it's like dun 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 dun. It's like this just awesome like vibe. you know Shout out to Marty O'Donnell, because that was all him back then. Just like director of sound. He made the music. He like it, just the whole feeling. I think people underestimate how much impact sound design and music has in a game. Yeah, absolutely, Brett. You did. I think like just sound design, music, and gaming, like the punch, like that you get from the weapons, um, the sound, the sound effect of like when a bullet like hits an enemy, The little like syncing sound that it makes, like Call of Duty has an amazing effect with that. But more so than that, just like the music of the environment that you're in and the atmosphere sounds and stuff like adds so much to games that I don't think we pay enough attention to. It's stuff that gets overlooked from reviewers and things like that. Like they don't hardly talk about the sound design in a game anymore. Like they used to back in the day when they did reviews. It'd be like sound, gameplay, like graphics, and all these things came together to make the games what they are. Right now, it's the reviews are all just like, what do I like? Here, let me tell everybody what I liked about it, what I didn't. But sound design is so important, man. RTSs are due for a mid 2020s revival. Let's hope so, bro. I mean, this generation, we got a Company of Heroes. We got a Sudden Strike. We got some Total Wars. We got Age of Mythology Retold. We got Age of Empires 4. We got Tempest Rising. Those are some of the big ones. I'm probably missing one or two. Now, yeah, the racing games are super important too, man. That's the sound of the tire on the pavement when you're making turns. Like it adds so much. The sounds of the engines and you're revving up and you're shifting gears. The songs. I can't wait to hear the one of the things I'm looking forward to the most, and I'll have to actually shout this out too, because one of the games that has one of the best soundtracks of all time was GTA 4. The music in GTA 4 was just the whole thing was a vibe. It was amazing. Better than GTA 5, in my opinion. But I can't wait to hear the songs in GTA 6 and switch between the radio stations in there. Boogie says, dude, I just bought a brand new laptop, and the games I went to install for RTS were still Command and Conquer and Civ. That's a problem. It's been 30 years. Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, that's the problem. They need more. We need more. Like, and we also need some of these classic RTSs to become available more. Like you can't play Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth 2 unless you have like a physical copy. It was never released digitally, I don't think, so you can't like download it. So you have to have a physical copy on like a 360, which because it's licensed, it's not backwards compatible. You got to have it at 360, or you have to have an old PC that has a disk drive, or you got to do like you got to download like a copy and do like a whole CD-ROM bullshit thing, on your PC. I don't know. I need to check with GOG and see if it's there. I don't think it's there though. Anyway, guys, we've been rocking for over 3 hours. I super appreciate all the support, hanging out, conversations, the chat, the back and forths, the arguments, the debates, the bitching, the moaning, the happiness, the glee, the music, conversations, all that shit. You guys fucking rock. This community is amazing, and I just appreciate y'all being here. But guys, it's been real. I'll see you again, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see if people keep bitching about Halo split screen and pointing the direction in the wrong place. Remember, there's only one fucking company making you pay, and it ain't Xbox. It's PlayStation, guys. Point the blame where it's due. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Thanks again. Take it easy. Bye.